Hey, how's it going? So I'm kind of sharing my next vlog progress of what's going on for my updates for my preparation for the NAC OSCE, which I'm looking forward to doing preparations. It's been a long time since I've been in a position of making those kind of efforts, and there's still satisfaction because like I build up a different amount of work, and the outcomes kind of speak for themselves, and I'm able to express it. So like I gotta find it interesting because like I'm kind of discussing putting money into payment for a course and how the outcome came for that. And well, starting out is just a few two. I've got just gone two clinical cases. They're simple enough, but like I can get an idea of like what to do. Like when it comes down to listing differentials from my perspective of breakdown, I don't know if like you can list some really nice jot down to show that you've been studying that you can bring out something, or is it better to approach it in a very common fashion? So like we were talking about certain conditions such as what do you call peptic ulcers. I think it was peptic ulcer, or they were talking about Gordon's consideration of pain for the relation of having upper GI pain. Angina possibly, yeah, these are fair diagnoses, right? Since it was the focus of GI, I could have the differential stage that listed for stuff like mm, what was it? Um, I think the one case was talked about was like peptic ulcer, H. pylori infection. That's it. That's a decent common one. I've spoken to mothers who all had that. And the prevalence and prognosis of the complication is that long-term inflammation can cause stomach cancers, and does require intervention and surgery to manage. So like having that managed is actually really good. And it's giving me a nice kind of bulk what kind of cases that you may be expecting to pop up in your OSCE clinical cases for your assessment. Um, Now, this is the other thing I was kind of jotting down my head and going through this is like, how am I going to over prepare for that? You can go in too much detail on one part, and it's not the bulk of what you needed to get past. In the very least, they try to stress it out from what I can understand. Make sure you nail down your history taking well, because they can be very happy. They can be very anal on you and fail you because you didn't follow the structure. Now, I'm gonna have to check the affiliations of the sources that I checked, but I get the impression the sources are, from what I recall, was quite good. Uh, bulky. I'm hoping it's going to get me at least a passing mark for what I need to get for the NAC OSCE because I'm not joking. When I was trying to figure out if this was right for me to make the approach, it is it it is quite competitive. IMGs are not favored usually, so I do have to put the effort, and I do plan to do that. The ongoing track records for that we'll see. Now I've seen a few cases, but there's not too much info. But like pick and choose and who you speak to who will be willing to like share info, or if you don't need to as well. That's their right. They kind of paid money for it. They decided for themselves to try to cater them to get the advantage on a competitive position for a job in Canada, which is actually I think is one of the hardest to like get in, and you do have to put a decent amount of effort. Like lifestyle here is quite good. But realistically, I know even so, there's particular specialists in America. I'm just trying to pass exam. I'm not trying to overstretch my case because that's not how the training scheme works for, for a lot of it. For when you want to choose to specialize, just focus on passing and meeting to the demands of what's required to. Well, I need to stand out. And the best way you have to do it as an AMG is get your grades up as much as you can for these entrance exams for my circumstances. So that's what it is. Trying to see my options to see if I can put enough effort to guarantee a job in this position. Obviously, being this far in, I may have some preference on certain things, but I have to be like realistic on like what's availably common for my scenario to be able to get a position or job. So like, what will I decide? Will I go on preference of like just being able to find a place where I want to work? That can decide. The other thing I'm kind of cutting the lines. Sorry, this is these HSM biography is a bit long because like um, I may have to consider later on if I meet the work demand. The follow up was my cousin. He went to me to kind of speak out to me and kind of voice out the opportunity to do shadowing observationship, which is also another part of the CARMS application. Which I had looked in some things. Now I'm not talking about like highly competitive positions. And there's just like where there are just not too many spots. But like there can be an interview process when you go through it, and on that regards, I will say like it may be worth me looking into these things, seeing if it's applicable, delaying possible coming back to England, but still planning these things in England because like observations are not expected to be that long. Maybe no observations doesn't count for the interview processing. You need an elective, and that can be paid. You might have to pay or something or apply ahead of time. I might not be able to make it, but I already paid for the other stuff. So I do plan to finish it. That kind of finish off my current HSAM. It's a bit messy, but like I just kind of had in mind my exams and then some fun with friends, and then other stuff working onwards. It's all relatively progress. Thank you for following. For anyone that was interested in seeing, like, I'm giving you kind of like an idea of like how is it that you're going to approach this as looking into your career seriously to land a decent position for like long-term job security. So thank you very much.